Hello, welcome back to our top-down shooter homework attack. In the last video, we were able to get our score working. In this video, we're going to create an instance variable in order to have our player have health. So, on our player, we're going to create an instance variable. And remember, the difference between an instance variable and a global variable is that the instance variable belongs to a specific sprite. So I'm just going to click on my player and then go over to the properties bar, and I'm going to add an instance variable. This variable is going to be called health, and health in this case is a number. And I'm going to go ahead and give it an initial value. Let's go ahead and just say 3. We might want it to be higher for our game to be more interesting, but this will allow us to run it down quicker later on, just for the sake of testing. And then, just like with score, let's go ahead and make another text box to display the health. So actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clone the score display and then move it down. And then instead of score display 2, I'm going to rename this health display. And of course I don't want it to say score, I want it to say health and then 3. So now I want to do something that's going to make the health go down. So right here, when the player gets hit with homework, we're going to do all of these other things. But in addition to that, I want to say the player, I'm going to look for variable. I want to subtract 1 from health. And I want to do that as soon as they get hurt. So that is right there. Actually, I'll do that right at the beginning. So let's see how that looks. Just gonna sit here and get hit. Okay, so I'm taking the damage, but the health isn't moving. And we know that from the previous video, that's because I haven't changed the health display. So let's set the text to, in quotes, I want it to say health, colon, space, and health. Now this is weird because I'm trying to type in health, but it's not showing up, and that's because this is an instance variable, which means it belongs to a sprite. So I have to say player dot health. Okay, so now I want that to be right after that gets subtracted. So let's go ahead and push play. We should see health 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh no, I'm dead, except I can still move. And now I can move into the negatives and have negative health too. So let's make it so we can actually make the player die. The first thing that I want to do is go into the player. I've got normal, I've got hurt, and then let's go ahead and make a third one. We'll rename this one dead. Means we're not just hurt, we're out of health. And I'm just going to do a quick dead animation here by changing the color of the face to green. Not black. I said green. There we go. That's the dead face right there. Okay, so what I want to do is after I subtract a health and change the health, I want to check to see if the player is still alive. So what we'll do is we'll say we're going to add a sub event. And what that means is that this event is going to happen, and then another event is going to happen that's based on this one. So here is a sub event, and I'm going to say that we're going to take the player and we're going to check the value of an instance variable. If health is greater than 0, that means that the player is still alive. What I'm going to do is take all of this stuff right here and just drag it into this other event. So that means anytime the player gets hit, it's going to subtract 1 from health, and it's going to set the health to player health, and we're going to see it. Now, if the player's health is greater than 0, it's going to move back on to normal. Now, what if the health is not greater than 0? So if the health is greater than 0, do what we've been doing. If it's not, I'm going to right click and I'm going to add an else. What that means is this is what you do if that's true, this is what you do if it's not true. So if health is 0 or less, we're going to do something else. We're going to say player, set the animation to dead. And then let's do the same thing here. We're going to player collisions, disable the collisions, and disable the movement. And then let's wait for a few seconds. And then the simple thing to do here would be to say system, restart the layout. So that'll be our game over, and then we can start over. Let's go ahead and push play and see how that looks. So I got an A+ on that homework, feeling good. Then health is 2, 1, 0. Okay, the previous recording didn't work exactly the way that I wanted to, and I'm realizing that it's because I forgot to disable the collisions in this original piece right here. So let's go ahead and add player collisions enabled. And I want to disable the collisions initially, and then I want to enable the collisions afterward. So I've got the collisions disabled here, and then after we wait a second, we're going to re-enable them, and now we should get a nice clean game over. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now I'm dead, and then eventually it starts over. I'm gonna do it one more time, and this time I'm gonna get some score so we can see if the score resets. Okay, game over, and then we're off. One more thing that can add to a game over is the actual words game over. So I'm gonna go ahead and take one of my previous text boxes and let's clone it. Actually, I'll go right here, the health display. Let's clone this, and instead of health display 2, let's call this game over display. So I can take that and just drag it in, and now I'm going to set this in the center of the screen, and of course instead of saying health 3, we want it to say game over. I'll stretch this out a little bit so it can be visible, and actually I think we probably want this much bigger, so let's find the text size and let's get that nice and big. Now, of course, if I play the game, I'm going to start playing, and now it's got this big game over text in the center of the screen, and I don't want that at this point. So let's go ahead and disable it. I'm going to go down here to the initially visible, and we'll uncheck that. And then in our event sheet, actually let's go and test it real quick. So now there's no game over and I can play. This looks normal. And let's just go into the event sheet, and right here, this is where the dead happens. So we're just going to go here and say game over display, and we want to set it to be visible, and now it is visible. So we want to move it up here before the wait. And actually, I think our game over should be a little bit longer. Let's set it to 5 seconds. So now I can play, I'm increasing my score, and let's let the health go down. Here comes 1, 2, 1 more. There we go. So we see the dead animation, the game over screen, and then after 5 seconds it starts over.